Guys, what's happening? My name's Alvin Lapitan. I'm a local mortgage and real estate specialist and owner of the Iron Asylum Gym here in Virginia Beach. Being a father, husband, business owner, I've got a lot of stories, but I also realize I've got a lot of great friends with some awesome stories themselves. So that's why Business and Barbells was started. We're here to talk about their specialties and talk about how fitness and lifting might tie into business. So stay tuned, drop a comment, check it out. Guys, what's happening? Episode number 2, change of scenery. As you guys can see, we are in the Iron Asylum Kempsville's posing room. I've got 2 special guests here, both dads, both husbands, well, not to each other, both gym guys and restaurateurs. Restaurateurs. Mr. Paolo Vergara.
Hey.
Andrew Stofan.
Hey.
What's happening, guys? I appreciate you guys joining me here for episode number 2 of Business and Barbells. We brought it into the gym, guys, mainly because the backdrop, pretty cool. We got a bunch of jack dudes and gals and overall fitness people training hard. And, it kind of plays into exactly what we're about. Plus, there's a little bit more room here. So appreciate you guys joining. Anything you guys want to add to that intro for yourselves?
Just first off, I wanted to say, hey, thanks for thinking of us and inviting us to be on your show. It's a very cool opportunity to be able to share some of the stories that we've gone through our time together as business owners, and we're going to be happy to share some of how we've got into it and where we're going and things like that.
And that's the exact intent of why I started this podcast, guys. I've got a lot of great friends, kind of like I said in episode 1 with Michael, that do a lot of cool things. And man, it's like we all live our different lives, right? Mine is mortgages and gym stuff all day long, and then family stuff with extra time that I've got. And then to listen to you guys from the started from the bottom, like a lot of us, kind of at the top, right? So I'm intrigued to find out how it all started. I know I've got a lot of friends out there that think they want to open a restaurant, or do want to open up a restaurant, or a food truck, or whatever it is that you guys can give some insight to. So I appreciate you guys. Andy, any shout outs or something you want to add to it, man?
Man, I'm just happy to really be here, dude. We've always looked up to you as a huge mentor to us, and I'm here to spend some time and go over some things, and yeah.
Cool. I appreciate it. It's always kind of weird when everybody says they kind of look up to me. I've always looked at myself as that regular old dude. I am a little bit older than a lot of others, being 42 this year, but that's always humbling. But even from that same thing, the mutual respect, people don't understand. It's like, man, I love to shout out the restaurant because it's like, not only because I know you guys, because I know what kind of guys you guys are. And that's always been my intent. And one of the things I always say is, I'm just a good guy trying to do great things, and I think you guys kind of share those sentiments. So, that's pretty much it. So, all right. So let's start from the beginning. How did the bromance start? When did it all begin? Let's talk about the friendship first. Yeah.
The friendship. We actually met 2009, 2010. I think he was working at Pop's Diner and I was working at a pizzeria in Chesapeake. We were playing pickup soccer games at Joe Hans. And from there, every so often after games, we'd all get together and get really drunk and party and things like that. Around that time, we became friends, but we were friends. We only hung out when we partied.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So how's that first meeting though? Was it kind of like you said at a soccer pickup game? You guys shotgunning something, or somebody
cool. I knew him from mutual friends. I joke about this all the time. I knew him because he was friends with all my exes at the time. Hey. And I was like, all right, I heard some stories about you, pretty cool. And you get on the field together, you start playing these pickup games, and you build that morale and the team effort kind of thing. We pushed each other, and it started building off from there.
Nice. So then friendship happens?
Friendship happens, he started dating a young woman who was actually best friends with my little sister. And I was like, oh, hey, I know you guys. And then, when I started dating my wife, we would hang out every so often. And every couple months we get together for dinner or invite each other over for dinner type thing. And I knew he could cook.
How did you know that? He whip something up in the kitchen or something?
He's cooked for me several times. Yeah. And vice versa.
What was that first dish where you're like, ooh, boy?
He was living in Virginia Beach, and he invited me over for Calvi ribs.
Cal, you would.
Start from there, yeah. To be honest, I've been cooking ever since I was a little kid. My dad was in the military. My dad found her in the Philippines, brought her back over here. She always cooked food. My dad always cooked Mediterranean food. I used to sell key lime pies and cheesecakes to my 6th grade teachers.
Nice,
And
man. It's always
always
that
been trying to hustle.
Yeah.
And then this particular day, what was it, 2016, 2015?
Something like
Somewhere around there, invited him over for that dinner that we talked about, and he was like, "Hey, dude, I just started doing this meal prep thing for some of my coworkers. I know you did meal prep for yourself, and you should come over and check it out, see what you think." And sort of grew from there. We were doing a few meals at his house that Sunday, and he sort of ran with it. He's like, "Hey, do you want to pick up some clients?" I was like, "Sure." So I'm on my it was an apartment. It was a 3rd-story apartment complex. I'm on the patio, like cooking on this flat top grill. It's
Probably not game big or something.
yeah, it was a struggle, doing even only 50 meals at a time. And over the years we've streamlined everything. That's from the very beginning. It was just 100 meals or so. Now we're doing 1,000, 2,000 meals on Sundays.
It's freaking phenomenal. And you kind of go on to that, guys. It's Swole Food, obviously.
Swole Food, yes.
Yeah, that was the first venture. If you guys haven't been there, or check it out. The website, Swole, SWOLFOOD.com.
Yes, sir.
Check it out, guys. So obviously at my gyms, both locations serve as a drop-off, and I know you guys have got multiple other ones at other gyms. So that's always been a fun ride to watch. When you guys first started experimenting with, a couple things, like you said, a couple hundred, now it's a couple thousand. So that's something that's still alive and striving.
Yes.
That's phenomenal. You guys want to tell a little bit about that business?
Yeah, so it's macro-based. We provide all the protein, carbs, and fat for each meal. Microwave safe containers, that way it's easy on the go, whether you're the everyday warrior, you're a nurse, a doctor, you could be even a school teacher. It's definitely beneficial for anybody that has a busy schedule.
Yeah. And that's big. So drop-off point, obviously in the gyms, because it's huge. We get a lot of people, competitors that are meal prepping. It takes a whole Sunday if you want to do it yourself. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, but the convenience factor of obviously having a delivery service. How many meals are most people buying that utilize the service?
It ranges really. It really depends on the person. But as of lately, we've been getting a lot of military members of the military who pick up anywhere from 15 to 25 meals a week.
Nice. So guys, check that out, Swole Food. That was venture number 1, right? So that does really well, continues to do well.
Yes.
And then what happens?
So prior to the summer of us getting together and doing Swole Food, I was working for the shipyard, and I was on an assignment in Seattle. And during my time in Seattle, every Sunday I'd go try new places to eat, and I came across this burger spot called Mexiburger. Had it for the first time, and I told myself that day, March 16th, 2015 or 16, I was like, if I ever quit my job, this is what I'm gonna do. So I brought this idea up to Andy, a few months into Swole Food. It's like, hey man, if we're ever making enough money, we should run this burger concept on the East Coast. So, things were going well with my job and this and that, but then I really started focusing on what my future held for me. It's like, do I want to sit behind a desk for the next 30 years, or do I want to create something and create something meaningful to the community, or do something different in this area? And I convinced Andy to open a restaurant with me.
Yeah. So from that conversation with him, we would be in his house for lunchtime. He was working. Is it the mid shift? Is that what it's considered?
Yeah, mid shift. I would go in at 2. So go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So he'd get there. He'd go to work around 2. So we'd get up for lunch every single day, just critiquing how we're going to do this braised beef. Do we like this curry? Do we want to add a little more sweetness to it? Try this burger. Just having fun.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. So, and to kind of go up a little off tangent here, sitting behind a desk, man, it's a conversation I have a lot of times. Obviously, most people are developed or they're just talking, go to school, do this and that. And then those hustlers, kind of like what you mentioned earlier, you were flipping pies in 6th grade. Man, everybody that I talked to has got that same exact kind of backstory. I can't remember if I went into this with Michael at episode 1, but that was exactly like me. I was that dude that begged my parents, like, I'd work up, save up some money. beg my parents to go to Sam's Club. I'd buy the blow pops, I'd buy some airheads, buy some candy, and you buy like a quarter piece, and I was flipping them to like friends for like 50, 75 cents in school and stuff like that. Even like chicken patties. That guy that printed business cards and at 14 was knocking on neighbors' doors saying, "Hey man, I'm gonna cut your grass for $20." It's kind of similar like that. That mindset that just always goes. So, Andy, what were you doing then?
So, at the start of Swole Food, I was working for a medical supply company. It was the first time I was not working in the restaurant industry. Before that, I was managing, I managed a bar. I was a front of house manager for Pirates Cove, like a seafood restaurant, and just different things like that, just mainly all front of house things. And I finally wasn't working on weekends. That's when he snatched me up for Swole Food.
And
Lost my
all the
weekends
time.
ever again. And then, during that transition while Swole Food was growing, he was still working his career at the shipyard, and I took it on the majority of Swole Food just to make sure I knew it was there. I knew it was something that was going to succeed. It wasn't just going to be a quick in and out type business, and I ran with that full time, so I had plenty of time to start helping with developing Alishi Burger, and I was all in at that point.
Good. So a lot of people, I've got a lot of friends, I'm sure like you guys, in the service industry. It's a great business to make a lot of money, but it's also very tough, and kind of like you said, the late evenings, the weekends, and all of that. What made you go from that into medical supply sales, which sounds fun?
So yeah, right. I'm a people person. I love talking to people. I love seeing the excitement in the food or whatever activity we do. And I just was sort of getting burnt out at that point. It really was working at a nightclub, managing all these drunk people at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, I don't want to do this right now.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy life, and being at a medical supply company, you're dealing with a lot elderly people, and I like bringing joy to them. Whether I was setting up, a hospital bed for them or giving them a wheelchair, it was just something. It was another way I can give back to the community in a
I
way.
kind of feel like you're born to help serve, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's commendable. And then Paulo, you're at the shipyard, making good money, working that full-time gig.
It was great.
Right. But at some point, both of you guys are like, yo, enough with the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's us, right? And that's what a lot of people don't realize, man. That hustle is like so much. And I don't know, for me, it's not everybody's obviously built to be self-employed. Some people meant to be that 40-hour work week. That's perfectly fine, That's what the world needs for the most part. But somebody like us, what made you guys, what was that like final moment that like clicked or, because it's scary. It's very scary. The monetary stuff, you're like, wait, I have to guarantee, like people don't realize, like I have to guarantee this stuff. Like, so if the restaurant doesn't do good, you guys can take like everything else that I have, equity in homes, cash, all of that, all of the supplies that come out nothing and have to start all over. You give up that job or career that you've been doing for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. It's so scary, right?
So for me personally, at the shipyard, it's a great job, don't get me wrong, but the culture was shifting. And in the place where I was at the time, I was very good at my job, but I was very unhappy. Because I was the low man on the totem pole, I was the guy that would get called in on weekends. I was the guy, hey, I was a grunt, I'd do all the grunt work, for engineering technicians. It got to a point where I was like, man, if they just keep hiring ex-Navy people above me, I'll never get to that next level.
Right.
And I found that to be very tough and challenging, and didn't want to continue doing that and burning myself out.
I think for me, it took me like 5 or 6 months to really take the leap. I was doing the math. It's like I could work 160 hours a month and get paid, or I could do the same amount, get the same amount of pay working 12 or 16 hours in that month.
Yeah.
And it took me the 5 or 6 months to be like, man, this doesn't add up. Why am I not making this leap yet? I could be doing so much more. I could be doing things that make me happy and, spend more time with family and do what I want.
Yeah. And that's a big point, but not to fool anybody, to say 12 to 16 hours. Obviously, the monetary compensation is great, if that's what you're trying to say. but it's not like you're only working 12 to 6
No.
hours. Yeah. So that's
At
the
the
one
time,
thing too.
yeah, it was like, you know, doing your own business, you know, if you were to take, everybody puts in the hours when they work for somebody. 40 hours, however many hours it is. Imagine putting 40 hours into your own thing.
Yeah. But then it's never just 40 because like you want to constantly evolve, right? So you're always thinking, I'm sure you guys are like me, man, is always thinking of not necessarily what's next, but what else can be done to be better or how can I improve, especially in business. Cool. So we should big shout out. So that's how it started. You guys, I guess we didn't even get into that. So how's it start? You guys, after the concept, you go back to him and was like, dude, if we can figure it out, let's make it happen.
So we did figure it out. I had a giant business plan, and we knew how much money we needed to come up with, everything. So we meet up with a commercial real estate agent, and we find us.
We can shout him out.
Oh, John.
Buddy of ours.
Love him.
Big John.
John's
I see him every morning. He works out too, guys. So you're gonna hear all these remarks about working out and exercise. It's a conversation that we just had before, guys. So many successful friends that I've got make fitness, health a big part of their lifestyle. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, guys. If you guys are hearing like deadlifts and barbells and things in the background, to me it's music to my ears, right? It's beautiful sound, not because of the business aspect, but because people are out there training during these times of COVID illnesses and stuff. No matter what your thoughts are on it all, there's no doubt healthier, stronger people are always going to do better. So that's a shout out to make sure you're working out. Sorry to cut you off, Paul.
Hey, no problem. So we found a spot with John Elliott, Brennan Park, Harris Teeter, and we knew exactly how much money we needed to come up with. The space looked perfect at the time. We had originally gotten denied for an SBA loan, and it was like, dang, it's okay, let's save up some more money, and then we'll try again when we have more money.
Can I ask what the reason was? And that's only because a lot of people, even in the gym business, they're like, man, I want to open up a gym. Can I like talk to you for an hour or two? And I'm like, time is my biggest limiting factor. I just can't talk to everybody that wishes. So one of these episodes, we're going to go into that. But a lot of people are always under the impression, oh yeah, man, I've got a brilliant business idea. I've done this and that. And just assume that banks and lenders want to lend money to start, which you guys found out is not the case, right?
It's unfortunately not the case. However, we're glad it happened that way.
Yeah.
So we got denied for an SBA loan, and we were just going to reconfigure our game plan and go from there. So after getting denied from the SBA loan, it was like, all right, well, maybe we should just be patient and wait for a second generation to pop up or something like that. So 2 weeks after we got denied, we let John know that it was going to work out.
Where did you say a second generation?
Like a restaurant that used to be there, but all.
Oh, I got you, because you guys were looking at like a brand new build out and all of
Yes.
that, yeah, which is a lot tougher because,
Yeah. So with that being said, John calls us a couple weeks later, and he's like, hey, I found this spot 2 blocks from where you were originally looking. Would you be interested in checking out? He's looking for someone to take over his lease. I told Andy about it. And you want to kind of
Yeah, I was like, man, I don't even want to look at this. Like,
Wait, what was the reason you didn't want to look at it?
being shot down for that SBA loan, I was like,
You had sour taste, you were all
it's like-
disappointed in me.
Basically, she looked at us like we were just 2 children. Like, she was really nice about it, but she was like, you guys have no clue what you're doing.
Yeah,
And she was right.
right, it's not like you guys have gone to Johnson and Wales and
Yeah.
coming out of culinary degree with, a
And it
couple
was
stars.
like you said, it was a blessing in disguise that it didn't work out. John Elliott found us that other spot. It was a quarter of the price of what we wanted to do, and it was more than double the size, the actual space itself from the original one we were looking at.
It's pretty funny, man, how things happen like that. So bigger space. So I assume the one at Brendan Farm, because I know obviously, what's the location of? We should have the address.
Princess
Which
Anne
one?
Shop, so 4402 Princess Anne Road.
Yeah, and it's not the most prominent shopping center, right? So a lot of people always want to get caught up in the glitz and glamour. So even as we sit in Kempsville here, so many people are like, dude, I don't even know where it's at. You guys don't have signage, you don't have a storefront. And I'm like, yeah, but I've got a lease that I'm paying like, 40% of what the rest of you guys are doing. So I'll spend the rest of the money in advertising, and I've always had that impression, I'm sure you guys, cook good food or just create a good environment and product, and people are gonna come, right? So, like, you guys don't have that, what am I trying to say here? It's not the greatest shopping center. It's not, anchored by a
actually is.
huge tenant.
It's actually the greatest shopping center because within that same shopping center is the best Italian food for 10 miles.
Really? What's that called? Oh,
Menino's.
you're right.
Yeah, John Menino's been killing it.
And Jet's Pizza has really awesome pizza.
Yeah, see? So it's
So we
greatest
got
for what you guys see, but others probably looked
Yeah.
at it as, so you guys, it was that diamond in the rough. To everybody else, it was,
It's just a through street for
Yeah.
most people.
gotcha. It's not a major intersection or anything like that. It's awesome. You guys start Oishi, go ahead, I guess, with the story. You got, John Elliott finds a space.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so John Elliott finds a space. We're trying to hold in our excitement. We take a step outside. I look at Andy, I was like, hey, you want to do this?
Wait, you guys were inside the building.
Yeah, we were touring the building. With
Wait,
the
let's talk about
producer.
like your real thoughts, because before that it was a Japanese restaurant.
Before, it was a Japanese restaurant prior, yes.
Okay. So
So,
you guys pull each other outside.
Yeah.
We're like, yee, or like,
Yeah.
woo.
no, I
I was
mean,
ready.
I couldn't contain the excitement. I was ready to, the amount of money that they were asking for, was ready to go. I was like, let's do it. Let's make
Nice.
it happen. So we set a closing date.
So didn't need to go back to SBA or anything.
We
This
didn't
thing
do
was
any
built
of
out.
that.
Y'all had been stacking some money, which a lot of people fail at because, well, you need the collateral to start traditionally in a situation like that. But fortunately, time, a little bit of luck, and obviously the network, right? Having the right people searching the right places and all, so.
For sure. So we took over the lease March of 19.
Yep.
We took over March 1st of 19, and in a month, got some new equipment, changed a few things around, and opened Oishi on April 4th of 19.
So we've been 2.5 years in. I know you guys have got a huge following, man, because to me, it's always fun. And I know you guys have got like a bunch of us that do the same thing. There's a big group in the Facebook, the Hampton Roads, I think it's called like Takeout.
Hampton Roads Takeout.
Yeah, that's got a huge following.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's like, I don't know, let's pull it up, maybe 10, 15,000 people or something in there. And then everybody always asks, hey, looking for something different or new burger place. And bro, like you guys get, I don't know, how many tags would y'all say on those posts?
More than I care to admit.
So much love. Yeah, everybody's looking out.
I got a lot of friends in the car community, and it's the same 6 guys every time. Oishi burger, Oishi burger, Oishi burger.
Yeah, that's the cool part. It's like one person will say, hey, I want to try something new. And you get, 6 to 8 tags with Oishi burger. It's like, all right, all these people like it, you gotta at least try it.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a few things on our menu that we serve that we feel are unique to this area.
Yeah, shout them out. Like,
Some
what are
big
what are those dishes?
Well,
Just so everybody that might be
We
listening.
do Japanese curry dishes, bao buns, and then we're picking ramen back up next week.
Nice. But I mean, like for me, I always get the Oishi burger. It sounds pretty sure it's basic.
can't go wrong with the traditional Oishi burger. Panko bread, deep fried burger, 100% grass fed beef. We do like a tangy barbecue on there, QP mayonnaise, brioche bun, like super good.
Guys, for anybody that might be listening and watching, guys, check it out. Definitely do so. Right now, you guys are only doing dinners still.
Yes,
Highly recommend reservations
yes.
online, and that's because limited seating, but during these times, you guys are doing it right. 82,000 people in that group.
Wow.
So it's like, I didn't realize it was that big. That's huge, and that's just
Yeah.
Hampton Roads restaurants. So, guys, there's a reason that they get so many shout outs in that. The food is phenomenal. Cool. So after Oishi, it doesn't stop, right? So you guys have been in that 2.5 years. Business is
Business is doing really well.
wonderful.
When Oishi first opened, it was a year into it, that's when COVID hit. That's when everything started shutting down around here. You can't have people dine in, you can't do anything really.
Yeah.
This is where a lot of the fitness and the mindfulness came for us and really pushed us to get to where we are now. That 1 year anniversary, it was almost like we're doomed. Like we can't sell food, so we can't pay the bills. You
Yeah.
know, it's tough. We were ready to just drink all of our supplies in the bar that we had.
So that's where those posts. I've seen a couple of those posts with you guys.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens a little too often, but
And that was literally at the onset. So
Yeah.
the 1 year anniversary was April of 2020, so literally
Yeah.
right when the pandemic's coming.
Paul was like, "Hey, dude, I've been following this podcast of Andy Frizella's. He has this program. It's called 75 Hard. We have everything to gain, nothing to lose. We should do it. We decided to do it. I think the program consisted of 2 workouts a day. One's got to be outside, both 45 minutes. It can't be back to back. Drink a gallon of water, read 10 pages of a self-development book, take a picture of yourself every day. And it sort of snowballed, and we started getting a lot of things done, started planning things out, just being way more productive, 100 times more productive than we've been in years.
And that's the biggest thing. So 2 separate workouts, 45 minutes each. So you're talking an hour and a half out of your day, right? Most people say, I don't have time, but the reality is most people are watching TV that much, or sitting on the couch, or just, and social media, of course, right?
Yeah.
So you guys figured it out. You guys said, wait, was the restaurant shut down?
We
I'm
had
trying to
to
remember all the
close
guidelines.
the dining room for a short period of time, but we were still doing takeout. But it was tough because of how we prepare our food. It wouldn't travel well.
Right. The burger might be soggy by the time it's 15, 20 minutes down the road or something like that. So you guys weren't willing to necessarily give up on the quality portion. How'd you guys overcome and adapt it though?
Small things.
As far as overcoming and adapting, at that time, we consolidated the menu to do what we did best, so that we could focus on the best and grow from there. So while we were doing 75 hard, like he was saying, we would try to find little things, one thing to improve on, whether it was personal, business, or what have you, to improve on to make the restaurant succeed. So for me, a lot of my time consisted of looking for grants and such through SBA or through Virginia and things like that, just to kind of help supplement cash flow, to try to make things work. We were fortunate enough to get a couple of them, and then we took the money and kind of reinvested it into the business and into our people, most importantly, because my biggest thing was I wanted to keep everyone together.
Yeah.
And 4 out of my 5 core guys are still there. And by doing so, we all suffered together, and by suffering together, we were able to come out, better than ever.
So are you guys still, like so many other restaurants, fortunately, some things have been lifted up. Well, staffing issues, a lot of restaurants have. Did you guys have that same kind of deal?
Yes and no. Right now, we have a great staff.
Yeah. And I know a handful of the staff. We've done some business together, a couple of refinances and home purchase.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. But no, every time we go in there, it's great. Like, obviously things that I notice when you go into a restaurant, which is generally high turnover type of employment, to see, the same familiar faces for the past 2.5 years that I've been going, it's always a good thing, right? To me as a consumer, it says a couple things. One, they truly enjoy their jobs, right? And management and ownership is doing it right, because people only stay where they want or where they're happy, right? So kudos on that. So, Oishi, doing well.
Doing well now. We're doing 4 times better than pre-COVID. We retained all of our employees. We've learned how to invest our money. We can't just throw money at them. Chick-fil-A is making it super hard for us. Chick-fil-A starts you out at $16 an hour.
Yeah.
Crazy. But our employees know the long run game is going to be better with us. We made these promises to our employees, and we've always kept them.
Yeah.
Even our head chef that we have for Oishi Burger, 2 years before, he helped us a little bit with Swole Food, and we're like, hey dude, when we opened up this restaurant, you want to be the head chef? And 2 years later, it happened, kind of thing. And we brought him out to this cool Airbnb over at Wintergreen. Man, our staff loved it.
Big shout out. I'll drop that link. I know the place. It's beautiful.
The season's 23, I think.
Yeah, that's it. 23 season. No, I appreciate that too, guys. No, so that's phenomenal. So to go on from Oishi, I'm glad to hear everything there is phenomenal, but it wasn't enough for you guys, right?
Nah, never. Nah, can't settle.
So you want to talk about 75 hard and how we joked about hot dogs?
Yeah, so it was sort of like
what you're
same time.
segueing.
Like,
I'm sorry, yeah.
75 hard, got the ball rolling on a lot of things. One of the hardest things that we always did, we'd talk about things while we were drinking or something, we wouldn't write it down. Once we started writing things down, it came up, it was in October. It was 2 weeks before Halloween. We were doing a pop-up at a brewery called Garage Brewery. Super slow. We were just doing our time there. It was almost like a meeting day for us, but we just wanted to be in good graces with them.
Right.
We're like, hey, you remember we had that time when we ate hot dogs for like a week straight, and we just kept joking like, dude, we should do a hot dog stand. We're like, it could be Red Rocket LLC. Like, we can do whatever we want for this. And I was like, yeah, dude.
Red
Like,
Rocket.
we never, we were sitting there like, hey, for Halloween, let's dress up the restaurant. Let's turn a Wishi Burger into a hot dog stand. Let's do Asian-inspired toppings on, great hot dogs, great vessel. Like the bun, the hot dog, it's already just better than a normal everyday hot dog kind of thing. Halloween came, we sold out in an hour and a half, 2 hours or something.
2 hours.
And being in this 75 hard mindset, like Paolo took it hard at first. Like, man, I underplanned. Like, he wasn't happy at first because he wanted it to a T. He wanted to have enough supplies for the whole day, and he took it as a loss. I was like, no, dude, this means we're doing something.
As a loss because it sold out. And you felt like you could have sold more, right?
We had some customers that they were upset. They're like, man, you already sold out. And we're like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Bro, it's like that McRib marketing plan, though, man. You just got to give them a tease every once in a while and then bring it back.
It's one of those things, right? Because that same night, people would come in and get one. 10 minutes later, they get two more. And I was just like, wow, like I only really expected people to get one like a side, but people were getting 2 or 3 at a time and just crushing it.
And this was still at the restaurant.
This was at the restaurant.
Gotcha.
This is basically where Umami Dogs really was going to be a thing.
Wait, say that again. Umami?
Umami Dogs,
Umami.
yeah.
All right.
So
What's that stand for, actually?
So it's like
What is the name of the
it's like a flavor. Yeah, it's similar. You have your different flavor profiles, similar to savory, like Paolo just said.
But it is like Asian-inspired hot dogs.
Yes.
Primarily. So looking back, obviously, Oishi, you guys are both got some Filipino in you, right? So that's why. No, I'm a big fan. So I was going to mention earlier about the hamburgers. I'm all about hamburger. I love a good hamburger, the all-American and stuff like that. But man, again, I'll go back to Oishi because that burger, it's just different, man. It's different. So then the hot dogs, they hit different too. So Umami Dogs, is that where it starts?
Yep. So that's basically where it starts. We knew it was going to be a hit. And within 14 days, we found a food trailer that was already outfitted. The lady had a concept that just didn't really work, and we went up there to Richmond, talked to her for a little bit, ended up getting a really good deal on it, and that's really when we started getting the ball rolling with that. Picked up the trailer, drove it back, and it actually made it. We didn't know what was going to happen, but yeah, it made it back. We got through the tunnels, and we started doing all the paperwork to get it going.
So now you guys have been doing that for how long? The hot dogs?
6 months, give or take.
6 months. And I see you guys everywhere too. So you guys are doing, not pop-bys, it's a real estate thing, pop-ups obviously, the pull-ups or whatever too. You go to a restaurant or a brewery and that kind of stuff, or private event.
Yeah, we do a lot of private events. We're using it for a couple weddings next month, and we do a lot of breweries as well.
Gotcha. So let me ask, mainly because out of curiosity, and I'm sure anybody that might watch this, you guys will share and all. There's a lot of interest in food trucks. Like over at my Castleton location, we've got that commissary right across from us, so I see a bunch of those guys, and they all seem to be doing phenomenal. Can I ask what the initial financial investment was into something like this?
Into a food truck?
Yeah. Like, so anybody that's watching says, oh, I want to start a food truck, what would you guys tell them you need to have?
We actually have a food trailer. It has to be towed.
Oh, yeah. So as long as you got like a pickup or an SUV or something, okay.
So I would say for a food trailer, you could look to spend, after everything from purchase to your first sale, I would realistically say anywhere from 25 to 30,000, depending on what you want to do.
It's pretty substantial. A little more than I would have guessed, but I'm gonna assume most of it, obviously like a trailer, I mean, you probably get one of those for like $5,000.
Right.
Most of it being the build out, right?
Yep.
The customization and all that.
Like a brand new trailer outfitted can be 80 grand, correct? But with the high turnaround with food trucks, food trailers, restaurants in general, any food industry stuff, it's better to buy secondhand, gen. And we got this trailer, I think, for 15 or 18. We got that one for 18, and we barely had to change anything in it.
We bought some equipment, upgraded the fire suppression, things like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what would you say was the hardest thing about opening up a food truck? I know there seems to be always some chatter about not only the logistics of it, but like the laws, rules, regulations with the city and all.
I would say electricity.
Electricity.
The very first time we pulled it out,
Oh, you guys have got to have like a generator and stuff.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't even think about that.
we struggled to get electricity to the grill to cook hot dogs. So
We got to cook.
We had like 1,000 people at this car show wanting hot dogs, and we had no power.
Oh, damn.
but we made it work.
Oh,
It
good for
worked.
you guys.
For us, we did it backwards. Most people go food trailer or truck and then do a brick and mortar. We did brick and mortar, so we knew we wanted to streamline it, focus on being fast, simple, and delicious, basically. You can't really mess up a hot dog too bad,
Yeah.
you know, and it's quick to fix. But I would definitely say like the legalities between each city. Each city treats it differently. The fire, it's not like statewide. It's Newport News, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake. They all want their money. We had to add almost a $2,000 suppression system because we put butter on our buns.
Yeah.
Just because of that oil vapor, we had to put it on. Simple things like that.
Yeah, nothing ever goes as planned.
Yeah,
It's
like-
streamlined, or you're super. Yeah.
Yeah, we have like 3 fire extinguishers in there. If the thing started catching on fire and I can't put it out with that, I need to get out. I need to get out of this trailer. I feel like, I don't know.
So Umami, 6 months in, you guys are doing phenomenal there. Glad to hear that. Are there what else?
So we did.
Like we said, it's never enough. I know we kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier. If you guys want to go into it.
So we're working on another thing. We're doing a pop-up with Umami Dogs at Norfolk Centera, Centera General. And the director, Kathy, was talking to Paolo. I wasn't there at this meeting. She was setting up dates to do our food truck there while they're doing a remodel. Long story short, he's like, hey, they have a food truck here that they don't use. They want to get rid of it. And I think he was already dead set. He's seen it. He was dead set on buying it. He's like, look, Kathy, I have to talk with my partner. When we come back for the first pop-up, I'll show him. We'll go from there. We went there. Long story short, they used it maybe 6-7 times, then parked it in the garage, and COVID happened, so they never used it. I seen it, and this is a second-gen thing, so legitimately they bought it for almost $41,000, and we were able to pick it up for like $15,000.
So it's unfortunate, obviously, anytime any business closes down, unless they're just bad people, it's unfortunate when they close down in a situation like that. Obviously, don't know all the detail, but fortunate for those guys that kind of have that vision to continue on and the ability that you guys were able to pivot and adjust with business, and it led to that opportunity. I mean, geez, I'm assuming you guys got that thing at a steal then.
Yeah. So
Not 41,000.
already getting it at that good price, being cool people that we are, and talking to Kathy and the head chef of the hospital, he's like, hey, talking to Paul, like, hey, I have this deep fryer. It has a suppression system in it. We'll never use it. If they let me, I'll give it to y'all. Kathy, we reminded Kathy, like, hey, he said that we could have this if it's still available. She's like, yeah, sure, sign it up, because we're cool,
Wait, did you say have it?
Yeah, we can have it. So come
Not
to
buy
find
it.
out. Yeah.
Holy
Have it.
smokes, jeez. Helps to be good people.
Yeah, he rolls
Cool
it out, rolls the thing out, brand new, never been used. There's cardboard still in it from the shipping. We looked it up. It was a $8,000 fryer, and we got for free. So on top of getting this maybe used 10 times trailer, parked in the garage, we got this fryer. It was a total win.
Nice, man. That is well done.
And it just fell in our lap. It wasn't anything that we were really searching for. It just happened,
Just give a shout out. So it was Mike Palacio's mom who hooked us up.
Nice, man. Big shout out, Mike.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike's mom.
Yeah.
Good deal, man. So then anything else on the horizon?
So to go with that trailer is going to be, right now it's an experimental type concept, mainly doing private events right now. We did like banh mi Vietnamese sandwiches. We did different fried rice ideas. So we're still working on that one. We basically, a lot of people are getting to know who we are. We're trying to complete a circle of businesses. That's our plan. If you know what Oishi Burgers, if you've had a meal prep, you know you're gonna like our food.
Right.
So we want to start a following, brand it where like, hey, we want to go to this brewery, just come try this random food that we're going to make. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
So just
Something
do
there,
it.
right?
And,
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
starting to get that momentum going, with our followers, and things gonna work.
I'm so glad, man, that, like you said, that's going to be like an evolving concept, right? I'm so glad that the Hampton Roads scene, foods, and I'm not the biggest foodie, but I love to eat, right? Just like everybody else, eat good food. What do you guys see? Do you guys see us as like finally evolving? Because I do. Like even over at Red Mill, I'm starting to finally see like different restaurants pop up and such.
I like the direction that it's going. However, I'm also seeing a lot of the same stuff in different areas. But it's also great because people aren't afraid to try new things now, where in my mind I'm like, man, I want to try new things too. How do I do this differently? I don't want to say better because the word better may be subjective and everyone might have a different opinion. But how do you bring something new and unique or new and exciting using the new food truck as a vessel?
Good, man. So excited to see what that turns out to be, guys. So stay tuned. Obviously, you guys don't have any pages or a site for that yet, but make a friend request, you guys, and become friends and stay tuned to it. While we try to wrap it up here, guys, within about the next 5 minutes, I've got a couple things I want to ask. One, with all of these things going on, you guys are both family guys. How many kids do you guys have?
One. I have one.
One each. Married. Shout out to the wives. It always takes, in my opinion, right? Big shout out to my own wife, 17-year anniversary coming up in March. She really is that glue that kind of holds it all together, kind of reels me in to be like, hey, no, we need family time, we need to do this. Or, she helps out the business, does all our books and accounting and stuff. What's the advice that you guys have for everybody to maintain that work-life balance? What do you guys do different or special?
I have days, personally, where I will spend the entire morning getting everything I need to get done so I can have the rest of the day. And spend, a little bit of time at night just tying things up that I wasn't able to get done that day. But if I'm being 100% completely honest, for any business owner, I would tell them to do 75 hard. If you can't discipline yourself to do 75 hard, how are you going to discipline yourself to run your business efficiently?
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. I know I've got a lot of people in here that have done it. I've heard about it, I haven't looked into it. But it's like myself coming off of this Achilles thing, I really haven't been able to do anything for 3 months now. But I am searching for that next thing because, even though I'm not the big systems guy, I'm a big goals guy, right? And I'm like, what do I want to do? And in my head, I'm contemplating, do I want to get back into a powerlifting meet? Maybe do a master's physique show even, right? And this, all, and that. But like you say, man, you get that inspiration and follow the plan and get disciplined and really test yourself. So.
Yeah.
Andy, how about yourself? How do you balance, man?
It's very tough. It's always evolving. I've found out a lot of my happiness comes more from my family, not just being successful in business. It took me a while to realize it's not about the actual dollar amount that you end up making. It comes to taking the time and spend it with your family because you're never gonna get it back. So my son right now, he's almost 2 years old. We take days where Paul and I both don't even talk to each other. Hey, don't call me today.
Yeah.
Just I'm doing family. So whether it's like 1 or 2 days a week, we are completely separate from practically everybody, and we can dive in and do activities like riding a bike with your son. These are things that they're going to appreciate once they're bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you do it all for them, right? It's kind of like one of those, how do you balance it, right? The financial aspect of it is phenomenal, right? I'm going to secure your future, the little one you don't know. I'm going to buy you a house. I'm going to put this money away in your 529 scholarships and all of this or whatever it might be set. Yeah, man, so it's a big, hard thing. But obviously, make sure, you guys are, how old are you guys again?
I'm 31.
I'll be 34 soon.
So I've got that 8 to 10 year gap over you guys. And, I wish I knew the things that I knew when I was 20 and 30, because I'd probably be done working now instead of the next 5 or 10 years or something. So keep at it, guys. one last thing I'm going to ask you guys to share with the audience and stuff. Tell me, what's the biggest joy and headache, or tell me a funny story or something like that you guys want to share about business, life, anything.
Funny story.
And this is part where we can kind of do that, so you can take your time about.
We don't remember them because we're always really drunk.
Oh, nice.
No, we don't have to be drunk.
Go ahead, cut that one.
Hardest ones, being a business owner, you're taking people's money. You have, hold up, my bad.
You have a responsibility
Yeah.
to deliver when you
Yeah.
take people's money. And, sometimes you won't deliver.
That's important, man. I mean, that's good. I mean, again, that kind of shows y'all's mentality and your business savvy and stuff, man. It's like some businesses out there are strictly just to take your money,
Yeah.
and they're not 100% sold on their own product or don't even really care. Where now in y'all's aspect,
So
it's one.
with the particular story I'm talking about, it was horrible. It was winter time. When we were first evolving Soul Food and in a commercial kitchen for the first time, we were renting it out. The bar that we were working at basically didn't pay the gas bill, and we'd already taken in so much money for the week that we had to make these meals and deliver them this day. So we got in at 3 o'clock in the morning, started working, realized there was no gas. It was like, what do you do? Are you gonna send out 100 sorry messages, or are you gonna just try to adapt and figure it out? We went to Walmart and bought a bunch of propane tanks. We got our flat top grills from our house, and we literally cooked, I think it was like 850 meals. They were like 3 hours late than what was anticipated for the clients, but we still delivered those 850 meals, cooking it on a propane flat top and just making
That's
do with
phenomenal.
what we had to do.
Something completely out of your hands, right? You're leasing a kitchen. The landlord or tenant that you guys are subleasing from doesn't pay the bills. Not your fault, but man, you can come through, deliver. It's phenomenal, man. And that's how business should be,
No
man.
clue.
Yeah, pride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then funnest. What did you say the funnest? I enjoyed bringing our staff out on these
Yeah.
retreats.
We had our first one in Snowshoe in January, coming off a record quarter.
Yeah.
You know,
Snow and stuff.
Yeah, so,
Or you're talking about in business.
yes, in business.
Oh, I got you. I was gonna
So-
say it was a hell of a snow season this past season too for the
It was.
East Coast, so that was always fun.
We were, so our Q4, in COVID was double Q4 pre-COVID, and it was just kind of like, man, like, this is our team, let's go do something for them. We booked a few days in Snowshoe, and it was just great spending time with them and hanging out with them, and really showing, our top guys that we appreciate them and everything they do.
Yeah. It's a conversation I have all the time, man. Lack of appreciation from the higher ups and such. So, gotta treat your people well, and you guys are doing that. Phenomenal discussion, guys. I appreciate it. Any last closing thoughts you guys want to drop?
I appreciate being able to come out here, talk to you, and have some fun. If you ever notice, we really just keep working. Don't always have the right answers, but we're willing to at least try to do something. I think that's the hardest part for anyone to really get the ball going. Whether it's you're trying to go to the gym or you're trying to just be a better version of yourself, you just have to start somewhere.
Yeah. And that's what I tell a lot of people, man. It's like, we get those discussions, I'm sure you guys get it. Like, people tell me, guys, how do you start, man? I tell some people, I'm like, well, I don't think you're ready for this, or you just don't understand. But then there are some that I've come across, I'm like, no, you need to chase that dream. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier, didn't want to be stuck behind a desk. Guys, if you guys are stuck behind a desk and you hate your jobs, do something about it. Whether it's gonna go find another desk job that you might find more fulfilling, or finally go chase that dream of starting your own business or whatever it might be. Those are my closing thoughts. I appreciate you gentlemen coming on board. Been a great discussion. Episode number 2. Peace!